Are you kind to your own mind? How do you speak to yourself? How do you think and talk to yourself? Would you talk to any other human being, say your friend, your best friend, the way you talk to yourself? When I ask myself this question, the answer is a resounding no. Why? Because I am like my own harshest critic. I judge myself. I criticize myself, which is the exact opposite of what we want to be. We've all got that little angel and devil on our shoulder. And how often does the little devil speak louder than the little angel does? The little devil is criticizing you, increasing your suffering. Or to me, suffering is, if I feel bad about something, I call that suffering. I choose to not suffer very often. I personally believe suffering is optional. If you feel like you're suffering or being a martyr or the victim all the time, it's time to take a step back, look in the mirror and say, is this true? Is this maybe some of that stinking thinking we were talking about yesterday and a few other days ago this month? Probably. Now, self-criticism, we think that it's helping us to keep us safe. That's what our subconscious tells us. That's why we do it. But it's actually just the opposite. Self-criticism undermines our confidence. It undermines our belief in ourselves and our ability to actually do things and be capable and competent, which we all are. If you are alive and listening to me right now, you are obviously incredibly capable and competent because you're still here. You're still existing and still on the planet, even if you got some negative thoughts going on, which we all do. We talked about that yesterday. Everything is fixable, right? Everything has a solution. And so many of the things that we fret and worry about are actually, I learned this in a coaching program I'm in right now, solved problems, meaning they're not new problems. They've been solved literally millions of times before. If you're feeling stressed or depressed or anxious or any other feeling, guess what? Billions of people have felt that way before. And so how do you get out of it? You can seek out and find out what those people did to improve. Don't go seek out and get into one of these groups where you just keep adding to the negativity and the woe is me and oh my gosh. I've learned that lesson in, when would it have been now? Maybe 2013, 2014. And of course, I'd been exposed to it many times before, but it didn't really hit home until I realized I was working on a pain project, a physical chronic pain project with a client of mine. And I realized by going through and reading all of the pain groups that existed back then, that was before school, it was before other community-based platforms. And I was mostly looking on Facebook and LinkedIn and probably Twitter. I can't remember where else. Maybe Instagram. I don't think TikTok existed back then, but whatever. But I was looking at these to try to understand, well, what are the pain points of people? Well, people in chronic pain, guess what? Pretty much everything is a pain point. And how I got out of my chronic pain in my 20s was, instead of focusing on the pain and how terrible it was and how excruciating it was and that it was all the time, I started to notice that every once in a while I'd have a couple of minutes that I didn't feel this intense, horrific pain. And so that I'd get a little breather. And instead of just glossing over those moments or trying to get everything done in those moments of clarity and physical ease compared to what I was usually going through, I stopped and I noticed and I felt my way into and thought my way into those in-between points. And then I started to expand them, because what we think about and focus on, we get more of. So instead of getting more excruciating pain and migraines and body challenges, I started to notice larger and larger blocks of time in between when I wasn't in intense pain. And I built on those and I built those up. And that's how I finally got out of the chronic, I'm going to call it the chronic pain cycle, because I think that millions and millions of Americans are in this chronic pain cycle, both physical and emotional pain, right? Spiritual pain, all kinds of pain that we can experience. And most of us do on a daily basis. But it's how we react and respond to that matters. And this is where our self-compassion kicks in, right? How often do you have a problem or a challenge, and before you even think of solutions for that, you start beating yourself up for being in the situation that you're in? Well, we're in the situations that we're in to teach us something and show us something. And maybe there's a big horn blaring or a microphone trying to tell you that you need to be kind to yourself and take care of yourself and be more improvement and helps us to become a better human being, a better version of ourselves, because we're giving ourselves a little bit of grace, apparently it's called, or we're cutting ourselves some slack is what I say. And we're giving ourselves a chance to learn and grow from things that have happened to us in our past, from our past experiences, from our current situations and our current experiences. A lot of time, all we have to do is step back, look at the big picture, get out of our own way, and things free up, and we know the next right step to take for us. A little different for each and every one of us. Our journey is our journey. Your journey is your journey, mine's mine. And no two journeys are going to be exactly alike here on planet Earth. Will there be similarities? Yes, because we're all human having a human experience. But will there be different? Absolutely. So today, acknowledge, and I don't want to say suffering, because it's just acknowledge that something doesn't fit or feel right to you right now, or it doesn't look right or seem right, or you know, so much of our life we spend, oh, I should be so much further along already, comparing ourselves to others. What a waste of time and energy. We should do a whole video about that, about imposter syndrome, comparing ourselves to others, and how futile it is. It's like thinking that we have to hustle and suffer to be successful in our lives. Absolutely, positively not. Suffering, hustling, optional, always optional. If you're not a hustle, hurry up, action-oriented type of person, don't let somebody beat you up about that. Don't let some coach or some friend tell you that you need to be something different than you actually are. You know you better than anyone on the planet knows you. So today we are going to notice when we are not being self-compassionate or kind to ourselves. We're going to stop what we're doing, take a deep breath, write down what is the exact situation that's going on right now that I am negatively talking to myself or being unkind to myself. Then we're going to ask ourselves, what would I say to my best friend if they were going through this exact same situation, or we're in this exact same scenario right now? What would I say to them? Now, say that to yourself. Some of our friends we tell to get their head out of their nether region, depending on the situation and who they are and how they act all the time. Others we would be loving and kind and self-compassionate with, or compassionate with, not self-compassionate with, because it's our friend. I challenge you to do this today. Then share in the comments below just one thing that you think you're being too hard on yourself for. I can think of a lot of things I'm being way too hard on myself for, and expectations I have of myself that no one on the planet would ever have of me. But that's the type of person I am. That's what drives me and keeps me going and moving forward through things like the pandemic, through the days that I don't feel great and I don't want to show up, but I show up anyway. We all have those, right? You know, some days I'm not as high energy or excited to be talking as other days. I think that's human nature. So, could ask you a bunch of reflective questions. I could share the self-compassion process, but I think that you probably know what to do. If anybody wants that process, hit me up and I will put it in the comments below. Otherwise, go out, make it an amazing day. Be kind to others, of course, but don't forget to be kind to yourself. All right, see you tomorrow.